can't wait, say yeah. Yeah, that's alright. Fellas, if you love your girl, say yeah. That's alright. Ladies, if you love your man, say yeah. Yeah. Fellas, if you can't wait, say yeah. To get to you, wanna see what you gon' do. Yeah, that's alright. Came in and out a second more. To get to you, I wanna see what you gon' do.
Real hot girl shit. Yeah, I'm in my bag, but I'm in his too. And that's why every time you see me, I got some new shoes.
Ay, look, bitch, I'm a star, got these niggas wishing. He say he hungry, this pussy the kitchen. Yeah, that's my dog, he gon' sit down and listen. Call him a trick and he don't get a holler. Bitch, I'm a star, got these niggas wishing. He say he hungry, this pussy the kitchen. Yeah, that's my dog, he gon' sit down and listen. Call him a trick and he don't get offended. He know he giving his money to Megan. He know it's very expensive to date me. Told him go put my name on that account because when I need money, I ain't tryna holler. He know he giving his money to Megan. He know it's very expensive to date me. Told him go put my name on that account because when I need money, I ain't tryna wait. I can't be fucked with, no. Ho, you can't touch this, ayy. Bitch, I do rich shit, huh? My money thick, ayy. Walk with a limp, huh? I'm on some pimp shit, ayy. He say you all about money, yeah. I'm on that cash shit, huh? I'm in my bag, bitch, huh? I'm on your ass, bitch, huh? I'm in that new shit. You on that last year, huh? Bitch, I do pimp shit, huh? Ho, you on simp shit, ayy. He say you all about money, yeah. I'm on that cash shit, ayy.
You know how these bitches love me? Why? Cause baby don't give a fuck. What you do? I be fixing the weed while she sucking my dick, pull it out, then I titty fuck. I fuck her from the back and she nasty, killing her. Know how I give it up. I be cool on them, bitch, ain't no pressure. Till I met this little freak, her name Maggie. This little thing here style. Look how she walk, look how she talk, she sexy. I like when they pretty and ghetto. Type of bitch that don't even say hello. And whenever we fuck, she be fucking me back. Put her in the headlock with my elbow. Now she done reversed. Got up on the dick and ride this shit like a Camaro.
I can't be fucked with, no. Ho, you can't touch this, ayy. Bitch, I do rich shit, huh? My money thick, ayy. Walk with a limp, huh? I'm on some pimp shit, ayy. He say you all about money, yeah. I'm on that cash shit, huh? I'm in my bag, bitch, huh? I'm on your ass, bitch, huh? I'm in that new shit. You on that last year, huh? Bitch, I do pimp shit, huh? Ho, you on simp shit, ayy. He say you all about money, yeah. I'm on that cash shit, Look, I don't be stressing by none of these niggas. When they be talking, I don't even listen. Telling me secrets, I probably forget it. But I'ma tune in when he say he gon' lick it. He told him send me a pic cause he miss me. I told him send me a stack if he really. I don't be trusting these tricks cause they tricky. Send him a pic of somebody else's titties. I'm a finesse and I'm a fly dresser. Move to the top floor and flew in my dresser. My bitches hustle, make money together. Yo bitches birds and they flocking together. I can't decide if I want the new Louis. Dapper Daniela, I'm always in Gucci. Yo mama don't bring your dad to the mall. Cause when he be in there, she know he be choosing. I can't be fucked with, no. Ho, you can't touch this, ayy. Bitch, I do rich shit, huh? My money thick, ayy. Walk with a limp, huh? I'm on some pimp shit, ayy. He say you all about money, yeah. I'm on that cash shit, huh? I'm in my bag, bitch, huh? I'm on your ass, bitch, huh? I'm in that new shit. You on that last year, huh? Bitch, I do pimp shit, huh? Ho, you on simp shit, ayy. He say you all about money, yeah. I'm on that cash shit,
Take a look at this. Live pictures coming in from Capitol Hill, where the House Intelligence Committee is expected to vote very soon to send its sweeping impeachment report on the Ukraine scandal to the Judiciary Committee, which will almost certainly use it as a basis for articles of impeachment against President Trump. The report cites what it calls overwhelming evidence of misconduct and obstruction by the President of the United States in his effort to get Ukraine to investigate his political rivals. As he moves one step closer to impeachment, Mr. Trump is in London right now for a NATO meeting, but has taken time to launch new attacks against the Democrats and the impeachment process. The White House responded to the report just a little while ago, saying, and I'm quoting now, "It reads like the ramblings of a basement blogger." Our political correspondent, Sarah Murray, has been combing through this lengthy report, and is very, very lengthy. I don't know if you've had a chance to read all 300-plus pages, but you've got some detailed information on what it includes.
That's right, Wolf. I mean, this newly released report is very damning for President Trump. It says he sought election interference from a foreign government. This as House Democrats stopped short of fully calling for the president's impeachment. House Democrats concluding evidence of the president's misconduct is overwhelming as lawmakers take a big step forward in impeaching the president. By pressuring the Ukrainian president to open investigations into the Biden family and the 2016 election in exchange for a White House meeting and security assistance, the president placed his own personal and political interests above the national interests of the United States, sought to undermine the integrity of the U.S. presidential election process, and endangered U.S. national security, according to the newly released impeachment report. The 300-page document, expected to serve as the framework for articles of impeachment, sharply condemned the president's efforts to block witnesses from testifying, saying it would be hard to imagine a stronger or more complete case of obstruction than that demonstrated by the president since the inquiry began. House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff and the other committee chairs leading the inquiry stopped short of recommending impeachment, saying it will be up to the Congress to determine whether these acts rise to the level of an impeachable offense, whether the president shall be held to account, and whether we as a nation are committed to the rule of law, or, instead, whether a president who uses the power of his office to coerce foreign interference in a U.S. election is something that Americans must simply get over. But the sharply worded document lays the groundwork for a U.S. president to be impeached for the third time in American history.
If we don't care about this, we can darn well be assured the president will be back at it doing this all over again.
The document makes the case that President Trump's efforts to shape foreign policy to benefit him politically stretched beyond his July 25th call with President Zelensky. The call was a dramatic crescendo in those efforts.
He abused his office to leverage your taxpayer dollars to have a foreign government try and cheat an election.
Other administration officials, Vice President Mike Pence, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, and former Energy Secretary Rick Perry allegedly knew of or aided the president's efforts, according to the report. The document also provides new details on Rudy Giuliani's efforts to peddle conspiracy theories about Ukraine and aid Trump in his pursuit of investigations. After subpoenaing phone companies, Democrats laid out calls between Giuliani and officials at the Office of Management and Budget, as well as Giuliani and Congressman Devin Nunes, the top Republican on the House Intelligence Panel.
It is, I think, deeply concerning that at a time when the President of the United States was using the power of his office to dig up dirt on a political rival, that there may be evidence that there were members of Congress complicit in that activity.
Now, you really get a look there, Wolf, into the awkward dynamics between the two parties on this committee when it comes to this report. And our colleagues on the Hill caught up with Devin Nunes. They tried to ask him for comment about being named in the Democrats' report. He did not comment. Yeah,
all right. 300 pages, indeed. A very thick report. All right, thanks very much, Sarah Murray, for that report. President Trump is in London right now. He's far from the impeachment storm, but he and the White House are lashing out at these latest historic developments back here in Washington. Our chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta, is traveling with the president in London right now. Jim, the president's trip is clearly being overshadowed by all the breaking news here.
That's right, Wolf. And the White House is tearing into the report from Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee, calling it, quote, the ramblings of a basement blogger. That's mild compared to President Trump's description of Adam Schiff earlier in the day as a, quote, deranged human being. These deeply personal attacks came as the president was clashing with NATO leaders and then doing some cleanup here in London. In between meetings with Prince Charles, the Queen, and leaders of NATO in London, President Trump made it all too clear he has a royal pain in the form of House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff.
I think Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. I think he's a very sick man, and he lies.
In response to the Schiff report alleging the president abused the power of his office to pressure Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, the White House got personal as well, saying in a statement, at the end of a one-sided sham process, Chairman Schiff and the Democrats utterly failed to produce any evidence of wrongdoing by President Trump. Chairman Schiff's report reads like the ramblings of a basement blogger, straining to prove something when there is evidence of nothing. The president warned Republicans will just torment a Democratic president with impeachment in the future.
You'll have a Democrat president, you have a Republican House, and they'll do the same thing because somebody picked an orange out of a refrigerator and you don't like it, so let's go and impeach him. It's no good.
While the White House is leaving little hope that it will cooperate with House impeachment hearings, the president hinted he may allow some top officials to participate in a trial in the GOP-controlled Senate.
So when it's fair, and it will be fair in the Senate, I would love to have Mike Pompeo. I'd love to have MIXX. I'd love to have Rick Perry and many other people testify. But I don't want them to testify when this is a total fix.
But unlike the House, there are Republicans in the Senate who worry the White House, like Mitt Romney, who said he's not buying the president's bogus theory that Ukraine meddled in the 2016 election.
I saw no evidence from our intelligence community, nor from the representatives today from the Department of State, that there is any evidence of any kind that suggests that Ukraine interfered in our elections. We have ample evidence that Russia interfered in our elections.
In London, Mr. Trump was locking horns with French President Emmanuel Macron, who had said the NATO alliance had suffered a brain death, a shot aimed at the U.S. Less than 1 week after a terrorist attack in London, Mr. Trump responded to Macron with a joke about releasing ISIS fighters into Europe.
Would you like some nice ISIS fighters? Good. I can give them.
If you look at the situation,
you can take everyone you want.
Let's be serious. A very large number of fighters you have on the ground are ISIS fighters coming from Syria.
That was hardly the only jarring moment of the day, as the president rattled the financial markets, saying his trade deal with China may have to wait until after the 2020 election.
I have no deadline, no. In some ways, I think it's better to wait till after the election.
And when he initially said the U.S. doesn't support protesters in Iran.
I don't want to comment on that, but the answer is no, but I don't want to comment on that.
Only to walk that back.
We do support them totally and have supported them from the beginning.
Now, setting aside the nastiness baked into the White House response to the Schiff report, administration officials aren't really attacking any of the specific accusations raised by Democrats just yet. As for the hearing in the House Judiciary Committee tomorrow, the president says he won't be watching as he'll be wrapping up his meetings with NATO leaders. That would be out of character for Mr. Trump, who's glued to those hearings chaired by Adam Schiff. Wolf, it's hard to believe the president won't be watching. Wolf.
Good point. All right, Jim Acosta, thank you. Let's go to Capitol Hill right now. Our senior congressional correspondent, Manu Raju, is there for us. So, Manu, the committee will be voting on the impeachment report very, very soon. So what comes next?
Yeah, the committee is going to adopt that report, likely along party lines. Then it moves to the House Judiciary Committee, and things are going to move pretty quickly. Expect over the next couple of weeks that committee to begin those proceedings. Tomorrow, a hearing with legal experts to discuss the articles, to discuss impeachment, whether or not high crimes and misdemeanors were met, particularly in this episode. Then there will be future hearings as well. Adam Schiff, the House Intelligence Committee chairman, signaled today that his staff counsel will likely present some of the findings in today's report before the House Judiciary Committee. And then there could be action on articles of impeachment before the House Judiciary Committee. And that could happen as soon as next week, before the full House could vote the week after to actually impeach the president, before the Senate would take up the trial. And that could go into next year. And then the Republicans would have to decide whether or not to remove the president from office or whether to allow him to stay in office. At the moment, they're signaling they will absolutely let him stay in office. But nevertheless, the Democrats here in the House are still making the decision about what to do. But even though the report is very clearly lays out the case for impeachment, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee today, I asked him if he would get behind impeachment. At this point, he still stopped short. Do you support impeaching and then the Senate removing him from office?
I'm going to reserve any kind of a public judgment on that until I have a chance to consult with my colleagues with our leadership. I am gravely concerned that if we merely accept this, that we invite not only further corruption